I designed this experiment to demonstrate a fundamental cosmological truth, that gravity is in fact the macroscopic expression of magnetism. In this first sequence, recorded in slow motion, we observe the standard expectation. Opposite poles converge, the fields align, immediate attraction. Nothing extraordinary yet. But observe the second sequence closely. This is where the standard model fails. If magnetic force were truly symmetrical, equal in attraction and repulsion, physics dictates that the free magnet should be repelled linearly. The repulsive pole is, after all, the closest point of contact. The inverse square law suggests the proximal repulsive force should easily overpower the distal attractive force. Reality begs to differ, even at the slightest inclination. The attractive force of the distant pole overpowers the repulsive force of the proximal pole. The energy of repulsion is not used to separate, but to generate torque. It instantly rotates the axis of the free magnet to align for attraction. Repulsion, in a free system, is merely a mechanism to correct orientation. To quantify the bias of the universe, I conducted a systematic trial. Using rectangular magnets with mapped faces, I tested all 64 possible interaction combinations. The results were stark. 40 interactions resulted in attraction via rotation, 16 in direct attraction, only 8 sustained repulsion. Even with rectangular forms, which possess a flat base acting as a mechanical brake against rotation, the ratio favors attraction by 7-1. But the universe is not made of rectangles. The universe is spherical. When we apply this logic to spheres, the equation changes. A sphere has no mechanism to resist torque. Notice the movement. It doesn't just slide, it oscillates, it wobbles. It is actively hunting for the alignment vector. In a spherical system, repulsion is a geometric impossibility. Even when forced into perfect repulsive alignment, the sphere does not retreat. It waits. It uses the repulsive energy to generate the slightest spin, and then, inevitably, it snaps. The fundamental rule: identical poles repel, opposite poles attract. Rotating the magnet has inverted its polarity. Nevertheless, it still repels. The polarity is opposite, yet the connection fails. The golden rule just failed. The most important variable is geometry. While constrained on flat planes, eventually, the magnets won't be able to rotate. However, even at like poles, a simple tilt and it snaps. Attraction is triggered by torque. Planets and atoms are spheres. They are never flat. Gravity is simply magnetism in a universe that is free to rotate. The quantum world is binary. General relativity claims the world is a 4 space-time curved dimensions. Here lies the exact mistake made by Albert Einstein, which modern physics could never undo. Until now. Of the 3 spatial dimensions, to understand reality itself, one must not invent another dimension nor other fundamental law. Quite the contrary, we must treat the quantum world with one less space dimension. Observe these flat, geometrically constrained magnets. Lacking the vertical leverage, the z-axis, to resolve the field, they are trapped in a binary state. They either slide away in repulsion or lock in attraction. This is the physical analog of the quantum world, a 2D limit where outcomes are discrete, and repulsion is simply a lack of dimensional freedom. Observe when we restore the 3rd dimension. By tilting the object, we activate torque. The repulsive energy is converted into rotational work. Even the bigger magnet is compelled to move. In a 3-dimensional universe, there is no static repulsion. There is only alignment. Celestial bodies are not flat disks on a friction-heavy table. They are spheres floating in a friction-free 3-dimensional void. In this environment, the z-axis is always active. As observed in the asymmetric magnet experiments, the introduction of 3-dimensional asymmetry converts 100% of field interactions into torque. Furthermore, our observation of non-magnetized ferromagnetic metals demonstrates a crucial mechanism: magnetic induction. A neutral metal object is never repelled by a magnetic field. It is invariably attracted due to the induction of temporary polarity alignment. Celestial bodies, which are not fixed industrial dipoles, but dynamic aggregates of matter, operate through this mutual induction,